Okay, that was weird. I didn't think the camera started, but it did. Hello, everyone, again. It's Donny Walker back again on Hump Day, Wednesday. So I want to talk about the 572. I'm just doing one here for a fella from, I believe he lives in North Carolina. Yep, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Bradley Price. I'm just finished your saw here, or just finishing it, I should say, and just wanted to talk about the 572s a little bit. Great saw. What I've done to this one is I've ported it, changed the cylinder gasket to my custom-made ones that I have made to get my squish better. These saws are pretty darn good the way they are from the factory, but I do a little bit more exhaust duration, because after I delete or I lower the cylinder, I make up for the exhaust duration and a tad more. Intake, I have done a couple more degrees on the intake on a couple, but my follower friends that had like one that I did that with and one that I didn't. He felt that it had didn't have the torque with the longer bar, and we run 32-inch bars on these here on the wet coast here. So I don't do any different intake duration on these. I just find that they're good the way they are, so they can pull good. I clean up the transfers. I do not change the transfers either. I see no reason for it. They work good the way they are. They're at a good number. So yeah, doing the exhaust port, widening it and raising it a tad, and doing the squish a little different works great. These saws, I wish they would have built them in 75cc or around 77, but they didn't. Husky's always been kind of weird on that. They never have one in that range, years ago with the original 372, the US had a version of 75cc, and Canada didn't. I don't know why they did that, but whatever, that's what they did. And that's why we used to convert some of the 372s to 75cc here, to give the guys a little more power, right? But the original 372 was good power, When we modified them, me and my dad, we modified probably thousands of them. You guys might think I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. Through the life of 372s, like 371 to 372, then we had the crankcase change when the engineers came here, and we figured out why they were cracking. I still said to them, we should have had more CCs in that saw, but it worked fine. Guys got huge timber down with them. Like my friend Magnus from Husqvarna years ago, he came over when we were trying to figure out the crankcase cracking problem, and he couldn't believe we were running these 32-inch bars and huge wood, and 33-inch bars in those days. He couldn't believe it, and I remember going back to our shop, and he, on a computer, inputted like running that size bar and chain on that saw where the stress point would be, and it was in this area where they're cracking. So he pinpointed that, right? And they improved the crankcase on that, so we could run long bars here without the crankcases cracking every month. So that worked out pretty good, man. But this saw, ergonomically, is awesome. The 372 regular one was definitely a smooth saw, but this saw is even smoother. And they've really incorporated a lot of the stuff that I helped some engineers out with years ago with ergonomics on tank back handle molding and the handlebars themselves. Like we all know that Husqvarna has their like degree of the top handle here, so your wrist isn't cocked like that, right? You're more straight as you're using it, so that's less fatigue on your arm, right? You think about that's awesome. And in the back grip here, some models of Husqvarna years ago, like the T540 first version topping handle, would come with different inserts here for the back handle grip. And there was small, medium, and large, depending on the size of your hand, right? But they kind of came up with a solution like a medium type molding that would fit most people's hands, right? And that's a huge thing. You see how this, I don't know if you can see that, but it has a bit of a curve there on that gray piece. Let me zoom in for you here. So on this insert of the tank here, yeah, it's kind of bulged out a bit. So when you have your hand on it, you know, it fits in your palm properly, right? And that's huge ergonomically. You look at some still saws. I'm not knocking still saws. You know, they're the best in the world. They make great models, but their ergonomics were never really all that great. Their handlebars or their back tank grip here is way too skinny, so your hand is wrapped so much tighter, it's hard on your hands. At least these fit your palm good, and it feels good, right? And the top handle having the bit bigger of the tubing compared to what they used to have helps out as well, and the angle. So now you're holding this all like this. Your hand's not so clamped for hours, right? And it just makes sense, right? These are the smoothest saw on the market. All Huskies pretty much are. And you got to appreciate that, you know, like for your health and well-being, it's nice to have something smooth and with good gas mileage as well. Some of the new saws, you know, these electronic carburetors, people badmouth them, don't like them, but you know what? They're very good, and they're going to get better, and they are getting better every day. Husqvarna has done a lot of research, so has Still with their M-tronic. They're all being superior, you know, like the less emissions they put out, you know, just wonderful development, man. Like, they spent a lot of money doing it. You know, I just made a comment earlier today on the 500i site. You know, this fella on there was commenting how he's going to, he's not very good at porting, or he never has done much. And he's getting all this information from all these people, man, what to do, right? It's like, I made a comment. I don't normally comment on people's Facebook things and whatnot, or their YouTube stuff, but I just told him, man, use the KISS method. Keep it simple, man. Don't do too much that you don't know about, because you can wreck a darn good unit. Husqvarna and Still spend millions of dollars on developing saws. They're not stupid, you know, and a lot of people I see talking about doing stuff different ways I don't agree with, but you know what? Maybe they're right. I'm not saying I'm the best porting guy in the world or saw builder in the world, but I know the basics, and I know how to build a good work saw and make them last and work. And that's the ticket. You know, you can do all these fancy different things to it, you know, if you're building a racing saw maybe, but you know what? Reality is, the guy's got to have it in his hands every day on a work site, and it's got to work right and run right. And that's the way me and my dad have always built chainsaws all our lives. So, just saying, just watch what you're doing. Keep it simple. If you're not sure about something, ask questions to you know, a good reputable porter or saw builder, right? Yeah, you know, you don't need nothing crazy. Just build it right so it's got decent power and it's gonna last. A saw should last a person pretty much a lifetime, really. You know, if it doesn't, then maybe there's a factory defect. You know, maybe a bearing or seal might go, like has been common with some Stills and some Huskies. A lot of people have bad-mouthed a lot of the 550s Huskies, the 562s, and I don't blame them, because yes, there was a lot of problems with bearing cage failures and seal failures. And then now people are talking on the YouTube and internet about plastic cage bearings are crap, you know. Well, they aren't, man. They're the best way to go. You know, maybe they had some faulty ones that developed some problems, but you think about a plastic cage bearing. When something happens to a plastic cage bearing, the plastic basically melts or deteriorates, and goes up and kind of makes some marks on the piston and stuff, eh? And it doesn't really wreck the bore of the cylinder. Where metal cage bearings, if a metal cage breaks, the metal goes up through the transfer ports into the motor, and you've totally wrecked your cylinder and piston. So you got to think about it that way. And nylite bearings and plastic cage bearings have been used in racing engines for years, and still are in the most high performance go-kart motors, the high performance motocross engines. I know it, man. I've seen it. I've seen it all, man. I've been around. Don't tell the girls that, or my wife that. So anyways, just saying, keep it simple, man. You know, there's a lot of information out there that people feed on and think this is the better way to go. Well, no, sometimes it isn't. So just keep it simple. Ask questions with people and get the right answers before you start doing something. Or get proof from a person that it does actually work right. So this like I say, this saw here, all I've done was lower the cylinder, ported it accordingly. Doing the muffler mod. Muffler mod on the newest saws these days is one of the biggest gains. Porting, yes, you get a few more percentage, but muffler mods are the biggest thing. So just remember that. If you just want a quick little horsepower gain, do that. And if not, do what I call blueprinting, which is basically just cleaning up a stock motor and maybe adding a little duration here and there, but keep it simple, man. Okay? So just thought I'd say that. I see a lot of feeds with people going on about this and that. So the KISS method is the best way. Keep it simple, stupid. Not calling you stupid, though. Stupid is stupid. Hey, remember Forrest Gump? Anyways, keep your saw in the wood, stick in the ice, rub on the road. Have a great night. I'm going to go have some supper now, and we're going to go play some waffle ball. No, wait a sec. Pickleball. I don't know why I call it waffle ball. Remember those balls in school were round and plastic, had all the holes in it? What do they call waffle balls? I don't know. Anyways, I guess I'm getting old because I'm going to play pickleball, not tennis. I did take tennis lessons when I was young and played tennis, and yeah, can't do that anymore. I'd probably have a heart attack. Anyways, have a good night. Catch you later. Thursday's coming up. Have a good night. Bye now.